The winter of 2026 is unlike any other in the history of this sport. While the public focus remains on flashy livery reveals and corporate marketing, a far more dangerous story is emerging from the shadows of Milton Keynes. A leaked strategy has just pulled back the curtain on the RB22, revealing a testing plan that is as aggressive as it is premeditated. Before we dive into the technical heart of how Red Bull is hacking the 2026 regulations, I'd like to speak to you directly. If you enjoy these deep dives and want to stay ahead of the technical curve, please consider joining our community by subscribing to the channel. Your support is the engine that drives this independent analysis and allows me to keep bringing you these exclusive paddock secrets. Now, let's peel back the layers of the RB22 and discover why the world champions are already moving while the rest of the grid is still asleep. The traditional norms of pre-season preparation have been officially incinerated by Red Bull's latest tactical maneuver. While Audi was distracting the world with its high-profile filming day in early January, Milton Keynes was finalizing a move that would stun its rivals. Leaked reports from the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya confirm that Red Bull has decided to skip the placeholder phase entirely. Instead of a basic mule car to test systems, the RB22 will hit the track for its private shakedown with an aerodynamic configuration that is nearly identical to the final Bahrain GP package. This Barcelona gambit is a psychological and technical warning shot. Most teams use these early runs to check for hydraulic leaks, but Red Bull is already teaching the RB22 how to manage complex air vortices at 300 km/h. By bringing high-stakes hardware to the very first lap, they are creating a massive data gap that Mercedes and Ferrari may find impossible to bridge before the lights go out in Sakhir. Speed on a stopwatch is merely a secondary objective in these early sessions. The real prize for Red Bull is the mastery of systemic behavior. The 2026 regulations represent a quantum leap in electrical and aerodynamic complexity, and the RB22 is a machine designed to solve this puzzle through absolute integration. The leaked testing logs reveal an intense focus on how the electronics, the new 350 kilowatt power unit, and the active aerodynamics talk to each other under duress. Red Bull is teaching the car's electronic brain to manage the transition between the low-drag X mode and the high-downforce Z mode with surgical timing. While competitors are still struggling with basic software handshakes, Milton Keynes is already fine-tuning the energy recovery cycles. This systemic dominance ensures that when the driver hits the limit, the car reacts instinctively. Red Bull isn't just building a fast car, they are building a digital organism that manages its own complexity in the background, allowing the driver to focus purely on the apex. While the rest of the grid usually spends the Bahrain tests in a frantic search for upgrades, Red Bull has adopted what insiders call the benchmark doctrine. The leaked plan confirms that the team will introduce only limited new parts during the official preseason tests. This is not a lack of development, it is a commitment to mathematical certainty. By using the Barcelona spec RB22 as an absolute measuring stick, every future update must beat this near-perfect V1.0 by a significant margin to be cleared for production. This avoids the ghost-chasing trap where teams get lost in reactive development cycles. Red Bull has locked in their aerodynamic baseline so early that they can afford to spend their time on long-run stability, while others are still questioning their front-wing correlation. This premeditated map suggests that the updates for the entire first half of 2026 are already finalized and sitting on a server, waiting for their pre-scheduled green light. Red Bull is not reacting to the track, they are dictating the track's response. A massive expansion of human capital is the invisible force driving Red Bull's aggressive 2026 strategy, led by the analytical genius of Enrico Balbo. Knowing that their current wind tunnel facility is an aging relic compared to the state-of-the-art labs in Maranello, Balbo has spent months on a high-stakes hiring mission. He has recruited a legion of specialists from across the aerospace and data sectors, experts in CFD leadership, dynamic simulation, and aerodynamic verification, whose sole job is to ensure that simulation numbers match the track with 100% accuracy. This expanded army of data has spent over a year refining the RB22 surfaces to such an extreme level that the aerodynamic package can act as a structural buffer for the new power unit. By prioritizing brains over bricks, Red Bull has turned their facility disadvantage into a non-factor. In the 2026 reset, the team with the most accurate algorithms, not just the newest tunnel, will hold the keys to the kingdom, and Balbo has ensured that the RB22 is the most mathematically certain car Red Bull has ever produced. The phantom haunting Milton Keynes has always been the Red Bull powertrains project, a monumental risk for a team with no prior history of engine manufacturing. Building an internal combustion heart and a 350 kilowatt electrical system from scratch is a gamble that could destroy most teams, and Red Bull is fully aware of the potential childhood problems regarding thermal efficiency. This is where the ultimate hack of the 2026 regulations takes place. Red Bull has designed the RB22's aerodynamics to be so efficient that the chassis can actually compensate for any temporary horsepower deficits from the engine project. They are building a safety net of air. By mastering the energy management software early, utilizing Ford's Silicon Valley expertise, they can manage the battery cycles smarter, not harder. The RB22 is a car designed to stay competitive even when the power unit isn't perfect. Red Bull's answer to the engine war is clear: make the chassis so dominant that the engine's early struggles become irrelevant. It's a holistic insurance policy against the unknown, and it's the real story hiding behind the Barcelona shakedown. When you strip away the camouflage and the technical jargon, the leaked testing plan reveals something far more dangerous than simple preparation. It reveals a calculated intent to dominate the reset. Red Bull understands that the 2026 era will be a graveyard for teams that react too late to the complexity of active aero and electrical deployment. By treating their early Barcelona laps as high-stakes rehearsals for systemic behavior rather than a simple search for speed, they are locking in a level of operational certainty that no other team currently possesses. They aren't just testing a car, they are confirming a philosophy that values the stability of the entire package over the volatility of raw horsepower. The dangerous silence coming from Milton Keynes isn't about hope, it's about a premeditated plan being executed with clinical efficiency. Red Bull has already mapped out the entire first half of the season, and by the time their rivals realize what is being built toward, the war for 2026 might already be lost. This is the new hierarchy of Formula One, built on intelligence, certainty, and a refusal to wait for permission to lead. As the final pieces of the puzzle fall into place, it becomes increasingly evident that the Red Bull RB22 is not a machine built out of fear of the 2026 regulations, but a weapon designed to exploit them at every turn. Milton Keynes has moved beyond merely reacting to the technical revolution. They have positioned themselves as the primary architects of this new era. By systematically hacking the rulebook through extreme aerodynamic refinement and a level of systemic integration that borders on the obsessive, they have engineered a chassis capable of absorbing the inevitable chaos that a new power unit cycle brings. The leaked Barcelona testing strategy is far more than a logistical plan. It is a calculated warning shot fired directly across the bows of Maranello and Brackley. Red Bull has abandoned the traditional pre-season dance of hiding performance. They aren't heading to Spain to see if their car is fast. They already have the data to confirm that. Instead, they are there to verify that they are ready to dominate from the very first green light, proving that their preparation has reached a level of clinical certainty that their rivals can only dream of. In the most unpredictable season of the modern era, the power dynamic of the grid has been fundamentally reset. While the rest of the world is still frantically searching for a compass to navigate the complexities of 350 kilowatt electrical deployment and active aero transitions, Red Bull is already holding a completed map. They have anticipated the struggle, accounted for the engine volatility, and built an aerodynamic safety net that could make horsepower deficits irrelevant. This leads us to the ultimate question that will define the next decade of the sport. Can a philosophy built on aerodynamic mutlaqiyat and total system control actually overcome the raw industrial power of works engines from Mercedes and Ferrari? Can Enrico Balbo's army of data defeat the sheer thermal efficiency of the giants? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Is Red Bull's aero-first hack the definitive solution for 2026, or will the raw horsepower of the factory teams eventually catch up to them? If you want to stay at the absolute forefront of this technical war and witness every shift in the hierarchy as it happens, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. This is Formula Perspective, where we don't just follow the news, we deconstruct the future. The 2026 era has just arrived, and the war for dominance is officially live. We'll see you at the launch.